Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us
Just so
is
you know,
seeking.
recording in progress. So we are ready. Jen, it's all yours. Start us off. I can't wait to learn about EFT. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Okay. All right. So EFT, emotional freedom technique. Is anybody familiar with this?
I've heard about it.
Okay. Beth is familiar. I can only see a certain amount of people on the screen, so you might have to just pop up with your voice.
Well, I know a little bit about it. I've been doing it for a while.
Okay. All right. So, wow, lots of stuff with EFT and amazing things. This is an amazing tool to help us have emotional freedom and other types of, I think, energy freedom. Just depends on how you apply it and use it. That being said, I'm giving you just a little taste, just a little top tier that you can help to use in your life right now to bring you some relief, some release. And if you're interested in learning more of it, I can give you that information. You can go in and you can study it on your own. There's the Dawson Church, who I got all this from and who I have the workbooks from, has a free mini workbook that goes a little bit more in depth with what I'm going to teach you today. So if you go to his website, I will put that up there. You can download that and have that for you. And it's like pretty long. It's like, I believe, 60 pages.
Oh,
and it's
that's a really good opt-in. That's a really good freebie.
Yeah, maybe it's 30. I'm sorry, but it is actually a condensed version of his manual. So
that's awesome.
It's really good.
Is it like the Cliff Notes?
Yes.
Is it like the Cliff Notes?
Love the Cliff Notes. We also work with tapping in a creator-based year too, just saying. So Dawson Church, I can't wait. But we also, and we'll use it more in mastermind group going forward, which will be fun.
I have been having so much fun just playing around with it. But like me, I dive in and I have all the information, and now I have to like bring it in for you guys. So hopefully that's what my slides will show. So with that being said, let's start. Can I have somebody read this for me?
Sure, I'll read it. EFT is a combination of ancient Chinese acupressure and modern psychology, now known as energy psychology. It's an easy-to-learn technique that involves tapping on the meridian points of the body while repeating statements that help us focus on an issue from which we're seeking relief.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about meridians. Anybody understand what a meridian is in your body?
Tiny bit.
Okay. What do you understand it to be?
Well, I think a meridian is like it's like an energy path in our body. And I've been to an acupuncture, so I know a little bit. So if that gets blocked or if it's stuck or whatever or weak, then it prevents our energy from flowing.
Yes. Okay. And we're just perfect, Carolyn. That's exactly what it is. But we're going to talk just a little bit more deep about it. they're all over your body. And I love how you say pathway. I look at them as kind of like road work, like a road map or like a highway that actually moves the energy. And in the acupressure and acupuncture world, they call that life force chi. But
Right.
it's the energy. And this energy feeds and helps function and properly work the organs of our body and the systems of our body. So when there's a blockage or a slowing down of the energy, we can actually have some physical manifestations of issues in the body. But it also is part of the whole system of our, like our subconscious, like the stuff that we can't actually look at and say, here is like the nervous system, here is the vessels and the circular system. So it helps move when we talk about like trapped emotions or the energy left over from emotions or memories or thoughts. That's what helped move the energy. This meridian system helps move that out of our bodies, out of the areas that it's stuck, and helps just us release it and let it go. So a lot of times if we can't let go of an issue, a thought, it's lodged somewhere in this energy system and it's stuck. And so when we do things like emotion code, body code, imagery work, tapping, those type of things, it helps our brain and the system understand, let's move this out. Let's get rid of it. Let's find relief. And sometimes I have learned, and this is why I just love tapping so much, is that sometimes we can do it just with through the intention or the prayer, or how we like to release sometimes with magnets and or with imagery, hypnotherapy. And that's enough to get that to move. But sometimes we have to involve the body. We have to have the somatic. We have to have the touch. We have to have that connection between body, mind, and spirit. And so that's what I love about tapping. It will do that. It will help us have that somatic release. And somatic just means physical body. Okay, so that was like just really simple meridian stuff. If you want to learn more about it, go into it. But it's just think of it as a highway, and you either have construction or roadblock, and you just have to take care of it so that it can flow in you. Interesting enough, there's other types of energy modalities. I am also familiar with what's called Jinsen Jitsu. It's fascinating too, and I can always teach you another energy balancing technique with that one. It's a little bit more fine tuning. Like you have to sit with yourself to understand how your chi, your energy feels in your body physically, and it's fun. But if we can possibly do that in the future. But I'm excited to talk more about the EFT. So somebody read for me.
I'll read it. EFT tapping helps to access the body's energy and send signals to the part of the brain that controls stress. Through stimulating the meridian points by tapping on these specific points, one can reduce the stress or negative emotion that you feel from an issue, restoring balance to a person's disrupted energy.
Restoring balance to the body. All right. Okay, so somebody else?
I've got it. This method disrupts the energy that causes negative emotions and pain. Restoring this energy balance in the nervous system can relieve symptoms or uncomfortable negative emotions and states.
Right.
It will help with headaches and it will help with colds, just saying.
Oh,
it helps relieve symptoms, both physical and emotional.
Yeah, because everything is connected. If that's one thing I've learned through my journey in wellness, everything is connected. Nothing lives in isolation.
Mm-mm.
Everything is connected. Okay, so do you want some science behind EFT? EFT tapping is an evidence-based self-help therapeutic method with over 100 clinical trials that have validated its efficacy. So this is something that has been studied for years, okay? EFT is found to be an evidence-based practice for anxiety, depression, phobias, and post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, its most successful measure that they have studied has been with veterans from wars. So it's a major help for them. They do have issues because of of course, any type of bureaucracy of actually it being able to be an official relief for them. So they have to go about it different ways to get the vets this. So, so anybody that has a traumatic event, PTSD, a very traumatic event, this can help with that. But he also talks about how this can help with post-traumatic stress. Does he call it relief or growth? It's like you can actually use it also in a positive way. But we're not going to get into that today. We just have to focus on our issue. And so maybe in the coming year, we can do a deeper dive into this. So EFT tapping has measurable results on the body with lower heart rates, blood pressure, lower levels of cortisol, which is a hormone associated with stress. So this is so good when you find yourself in that anxious state or that stressful state to help us change the chemistry of the body. So when to use EFT. So let's just go around and each read one.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Before or after a stressful or negative event or experience?
Okay, so let's talk about that just a little bit. Like an example.
Oh, I can give you an example.
Okay.
I did a lot of tapping around playing the organ because I don't like being in front of a big group of people. And so I would get worked up Friday, Saturday, knowing I was going to be in front of a group of people and playing. And I used tapping quite frequently to bring me back into a place where I could see things as they really were, rather than as the part of me in my head that was frightened about being in front of people saw things. It would really
which caused your body to go into that fight or flight. Okay.
Yeah, it did. Perfect. And I played a lot better because I was able to relax into what I was doing instead of having that fight or flight response.
Yeah, fighting that and trying to be on. I can never really do what I need to do because my body just wants to flee. So my brain shuts down. And my animal brain is just saying, Okay, so the next one. Does somebody want to read the next one?
I got it. After a long day of work or child rearing.
Okay. Yeah, it's like you're just done and you want to like get rid of the day or just whatever happened. So yes.
Some people might have a glass of wine. You can just sit down and do some tapping. Wind it down after a long day.
Yeah, and then if your husband sees you in the corner rocking and tapping, he'd be like, "Okay, it's been a day." So we'll help him understand that. Okay, the next one.
Anytime you start to think of the past, ruminate, or focus on the future, which equals worry.
Yes. So this is my life. I will find sometimes my thoughts will go to like the past. Mm-hmm. And so we can identify that specific issue or that moment in the past. And we can use the tapping technique and resolve that as best we can or completely. Or when we start to worry about the future, we can do the same thing. Okay.
I have a question. I want, if you could qualify this. So when you think of the past, is this like a negative thing in the past or a perfect day at the park past?
No, it's a negative thing. Okay. It's something that is bothering you. Okay. And you just can't let it go. Or you're like, why did I do that? Or why did I say that? Or why did I feel that? And it's just the past is just bothering you.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Okay. What about the next one?
I can do it. When you feel unmotivated or emotionally tired.
So you can actually help ourselves to move through some issues or create more energy. Because if our energy is blocked, we have to fight through that to even do.
Yeah, I really like emotionally tired.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I've never thought about being emotionally tired before, but it really would get things going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, next one.
Can't fall asleep or wake up long day before you need to. Whoa, what in the world? Can't fall asleep or wake up long before you need to. I don't know where I got day.
I was like, did my slide type? Yeah, I thought it was my slide.
No, my eyes just typed it.
What is it like?
Tap.
Exactly. What are you like? Is it 7 something there for you, JC?
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't have to read if you don't want to, girl. Okay. The next one, you feel stuck. So, if you feel stuck about something.
Yeah.
Want to read the next one?
I'll do it. When you keep reliving or replaying an event experience.
Kind of goes along with the rumination and the worry.
Right.
So when you keep, sometimes I'm just like, why will that not leave my brain? Well, my brain, my conscious, my spirit, my higher self, whatever you want to say, is letting me know this is an issue. You need to address this. Okay. And then the next one.
When your inner critic is hounding you.
Oh, whoa. Yeah.
Ivan, well, we can use this to do that. And then the next one, when you want to feel more present or grounded. And then the last one.
I got it.
Feeling physical discomfort or pain.
Okay, yes. So we can actually help us, like what Beth was saying with the headache. And I have been experimenting with this with my lower back pain. So you definitely can find comfort from those issues that are causing you discomfort and pain. So hopefully this helps you understand that we can use this kind of whenever. Sometimes I sometimes don't understand that a tool that I have, I can apply it to something that I'm going through until after the fact. And I go like, well, goodness, I could have used that help. So hopefully this helped you be more aware of this tool that you're going to learn, how you can use it in your life. Okay. Just with little small things. We don't want to go into big things, and you don't want to go into something that is like a trauma or a childhood issue for yourself. That's something that you need to have some guidance on in case some other things are brought up, and possibly do it with somebody that has some coaching experience or therapeutic experience that can help you work through something. Okay. So for today, we are going to be focusing on kind of the smaller stuff. We're not going to go deep. Okay.
Hey, Jen, when I was first introduced to this, it's really interesting. It was through our weight loss program that we had in the clinic, and they used it to, like you said, to just help those meridians to connect. And for me, at first I thought that's all it was used for until I learned more about it. So it's used for various things.
Things. And you can find success on all different things. I mean, probably what they were trying to do is help you understand that your energy was stuck, and you can be healthier and actually be motivated and do things if you got all that flowing out.
Yeah. And they did use it because they would say, okay, well, when you're thinking about this and you're tapping on this meridian, when you first had this food thought, where were you?
Yeah.
And what kind of experience was it? Was it a good experience, or was it a negative experience? And it's funny, that was years ago. So it just came to my mind. I'm like, oh, we did used to use this. Yeah.
You did. So that'll come back to you. That'll definitely come back to you. You can see how you can use it in other areas now, not just with the eating thing. But I mean, what a great place. That's not on my list, but what a great place.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you do come up, and see, that's the other thing, there's so much you can use this on. And he even has some examples in his workbook. I was just trying to figure out how we could use it with our group. So if you can find something outside of this list that's personalized for you, great. That's what you want to use it. You want to apply it to that. So we're going to learn the steps. We're not going to do it. We're going to learn it first, and then I'm going to guide you through it. Okay. So make sure if you have any questions, just pipe up. We want to make sure everybody understands. So the very first thing we're going to do is the basic protocol. This is the basic protocol that you will use on yourself, your self-help use. You're going to identify whatever issue you want to work with. So I gave you that list, but maybe you want to do something. And so we're going to help each other understand their issue. Understand the issue and all that stuff. If you feel like you want to share it. That's why I said, let's pick something that you want to change, what you want, what do you want less of. It needs to be a specific event that you can tie it to. And it needs to be something that's, like I said, not deep. Let's not do any childhood stuff. Let's not do any if you're in a car accident, trauma stuff, nothing like that. Or like if you got hit by somebody, we don't want to do that. We want to do something that, happened within the past 18 months, maybe, or even the past week or the past day, past month. The soonest, the most recent, the better for your beginning part of this. Okay. And then you can start applying it to different things. It could be something that you felt yesterday, or you feel today, or you experienced yesterday or experienced today. But you want to have the feeling with it and what it was. Okay. My thing that I've been working on is I have lower back pain, and it's been increasing. And so I'm like, I'm going to put this to the test. I want to do lower back pain. And so that's what I identified in you. So it can be an actual physical thing that you feel, or it can be an emotional thing you feel, or a mental state. So I'm going to let you guys kind of think about that and come up with one. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Can we do something physical? Like currently I have a headache because I'm sick.
Yes. Or
that's what I'm going to do, Carolyn. I'm going to work on my headache. Yeah.
Okay. Or you can, yeah, let's work on the headache. So the headache. So I want you to write that down. Like what it is that you want to work on. If it's an emotion, like, okay, so if it's going to be emotion, let's say, okay, to the scenario. So let's say yesterday I got really angry because somebody said something to me. Okay. So that was my issue was I was angry. I felt something. Okay. And that something is going to be also a story behind it. Okay. So the event, the experience was what I had with the individual, and I was angry because I felt something. Okay. So I want to work on that. Okay. That's an example. So if it's like an emotion or an interaction.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is just a measure. We want to rate the intensity of that experience or what you're feeling when you think of that on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like the most intense. I like to, when I work with clients, I like to think about this, like, on that scale, like 10 is the inflated balloon, like the balloon is just about ready to pop, and 0 is it's deflated, because we need to measure where we are within that. Okay. So where's your balloon? Are you at a 10 where you're just about ready to pop with that intensity, that pressure? Or are you maybe a 7? Or are you a 3? Yeah, we want to find out where we are with this issue. And for this purpose, for you to understand and see how this can work, try and find an event or something that you can measure 8 or above. Okay. And it can be like what's bothering you, that type of thing. Yeah. My cold right now is a 10. I'm just done, or my headache is a 10. Oh. My back pain. For me, my back pain that I've been working on is anywhere between an 8 to a 9.
Oh,
I think to me, a 10 with my back pain would be debilitating, that type of thing.
Okay, I have a question. So long before we started talking about headaches, that's what I thought I would address, because I thought, oh, I get those often enough that I want to know how to work with them. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, probably a 4, but in other times I've had a 9 or a 10. Okay. So do I need to go back to a time when I had a 9 or a 10?
Yes.
Or just,
okay. The last time you had a 9 or a 10 in the middle of it.
All right, thanks.
But if you want to, like you could always work with the 4. It just, you probably, because what happens is to really get this done, we go through the protocol over and over and over again, rinse and repeat. So if you think of your 4 yesterday, it may only need once. This is my theory with physical pain. I think you have to be in it when you use the tapping. So, but like I said, not everything lives in isolation. So is there an emotion or a thought? Is there a thought behind every time you get your headache?
Well, I know it triggers my headaches. So it's more identifying the trigger.
Yeah. So you could always work with that first.
Okay.
If you're not feeling the headache right now, let's work with what you know sets it off. Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, my headache, I know it's because I'm sick.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So you know that. So
I can still use that. Okay.
Yeah. And you're feeling it right now.
Mhm.
So yeah. Use the headache.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody have their intensity level.
I'm joining the headache club.
Hey, now this is not because we're suggesting everybody has a headache.
You said identify the issue, and then you started talking about like an experience, and I was like, oh, and I had already written down a headache, and then you were like, it can be a physical thing. I thought, yep, perfect.
Okay.
Well, okay, so we do what we need to do. Okay. But then just remember, you can apply this to a thought that keeps running through your head, a memory, an experience. Like, let's say you I'll use road rage. Let's say you had an instance coming, driving, and it really upset you, and you're still like feeling it physically and you're upset about it, and you can tap that out. So right in the moment or when you get home. So I mean, that's something you can do, like an event.
Okay.
I've used it a lot for change because we've had a remarkable number of changes in the last 3 or 4 years. And so when I begin to feel overwhelmed with change, and my brain is trying to sort everything out and put it in order and it just can't do it, I'll tap on that, whatever the emotion might be. Maybe it's overwhelm, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's grief. It doesn't matter. But whatever it is, it really does calm and allow you to be at peace with whatever is changing as well. It's really helpful.
And like she said, you don't have to identify every single thing, but you do have to identify something to start. You don't have to know all the details. You just have to identify something to start. Okay, so you have your intensity. Okay. Now we need to create a statement about what you're experiencing. And this won't change unless we do a deep dive. So it's always going to start out, even though I experienced. So if you're thinking about something that you've already been through, or something you're going through right now, even though I am experiencing, and then you insert it. So for me, it was, even though I am experiencing lower back pain, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay. So you can put in there, even though I am experiencing this headache, I deeply and completely accept myself. Or even though I am experiencing this cold, I deeply and completely accept myself, whatever you have identified as the issue. Okay. So if this is to be an emotion, even though I experienced overwhelm, or even though I experienced anger yesterday, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I experienced feeling less than yesterday, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am experiencing this memory, I deeply and completely, accept myself.
I love the phrase, I am experiencing. I'm sorry. I love the phrase am experiencing because it externalizes it. It's not yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even though, it's not like I am this.
Or
like,
I have. When I learned, even though I have this headache, but even have shows more ownership than experiencing. That's really good verbiage.
Yeah. So you always want this one. So does everybody have their statement? Okay. And we have to be careful. Let me backtrack just a little bit here. We have to be careful not to generalize. So if you're working with, like, you can't generalize, like if you have clinical depression, okay, that's really super big. So think of, like, when was the last time you had an experience with your depression where it made you feel sad, or it made you feel low energy? So we want to start there. We have to start with something that's workable, not like this generalization of, even though I'm experiencing depression, because that's huge. You have to put it down. Does that make sense? You have to kind of like whittle it down.
Yeah, you have to have a
So-
specific situation, right?
Specific, a very specific symptom. So question then, if we're addressing a headache, is it rather than, even though I'm experiencing this headache, I'm experiencing maybe this pressure in my eyebrows?
If you want to
Instead of
take
this
it down
headache?
like that, you can, but you don't have to, because
Okay.
it's a physical manifestation you're having right now. That's I think the difference with physical and then like a generalized.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yep.
And,
What
and
if-
different from an emotion.
What if it's a thought pattern like ruminating, like going, so yeah, is it how I feel when that thought comes up and I begin the ruminating, or?
No, actually, if it's a thought pattern, do you have the verbiage of the thought pattern? Like you said, you ruminate about something. Is there some type of like sentence or something that comes out of it?
I think it's always, do you remember when? Because it was a really hurtful experience, like emotional experience. Yeah. And it hurt deeply. And it always comes up in the shower.
Okay.
So it always comes up in the shower. Why? I don't
Time
know.
to tap.
So what I would do with that is, what are some of the things that you felt in that experience? You said hurtful.
Yeah, extreme sadness, fear. Yeah.
Okay, so you can say, because you know what that experience was. So you can say, even though I experienced that hurtful situation, because you know what it is.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Got it. Okay.
And you can even put in there like that hurtful situation that made me feel this. I deeply and completely accept myself.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help? Does that help?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And as you do this, the more you do this, the more you'll be able to see kind of what your statement should be, but your conscious, your subconscious, your body knows too. So if you don't feel like you have the perfect statement, that's okay. You've opened up the doorway to change, and your body, your subconscious is going to use that. Okay. So don't feel like you have to have the perfect statement. You're still gonna have a result. Okay. But I want to help you kind of like get it down to where it's not a generalization, so that you have a specific issue. And so this, don't do this with me, because we want to make sure we have a complete thing. You're just going to watch. So we're going to do what's called the setup. And this is what cancels what's called secondary gain. Okay. So a secondary gain is sometimes, and this is just what's so bizarre, we hold on to things because we think they serve us. We'll continue to stay sick, or we'll continue to stay in our thought pattern because we believe that it serves a purpose, keeping us safe or giving us something. Or consciously, we're like, let's get rid of this. We know it's not right. Okay. This is that secondary gain. So this setup technique right here is what cancels that out. So it opens up the rest of the tapping technique for healing. Okay. Sets us up for healing. So we tap with the non-dominant hand. So I am right-handed, so I'm going to use my left hand on this part only. Okay. And you're going to tap what's called the karate chop point right here. So usually you take about 3 fingers and you just gently tap right here on the non-dominant hand. And while you tap this, and it's not fast, it's just a nice rhythm. Just find your rhythm, and it's not hard. We don't want to bruise ourselves. You're just going to say, even though I'm experienced, and your statement, and you're going to say it slowly and empathically, okay? And just empathically, lovingly, and just with resolve. And you're going to do it 3 times, okay? That cycle, okay? That's called the setup, canceling out all of that conflict so that we can step into healing, because there is going to be some internal conflict with your statement, but that's canceling that out. And energetically, what this does, because it's the meridian, It helps if we get out of polarization. So they also call this psychological reversal in the energy world, where because it's an energy pathway, if the positives and negatives aren't lined up, it's not going to work correctly. So think of it this way. If you have a flashlight and you put the batteries in wrong and you go to turn it on, you're not going to get a result. Okay. But if you have the batteries in correctly, where all of the touch points are touching correctly, you're going to get a result. You're going to turn it on, the energy is you're going to get the light. That's what this happens in the meridians also. So this also helps to correct the secondary gain and to correct that reversal. Okay. So like I said, opens up so the meridians now can flow and we can release and get rid of stuff. So that's the setup. Then the next one is this. Now there's 2 steps in this. We're going to create a movie title, and this is what's different from your statement. Okay. So you say your statement 3 times. You're not going to say your statement through the rest of the tapping series. What you're going to do is you're going to, so with Jacene's, she had an experience that it could be a movie, right? So now title that experience. Okay, make a movie title, because it's going to involve everything that you felt, experienced in that moment. Okay, this is called exposure therapy. We're bringing it to the forefront. Okay, so the movie title, and now when you go to tap all these points on our body, which is the sequence, every time you go to tap a new point, you're going to say your movie title. Okay. And that should bring up some energies, some thoughts, some feelings, possibly even be aware, possibly even tension or things in your body. Okay. You're going to have some sensations.
Jen,
okay.
I have a question. So I'm working with headache, and I broke it down to pressure across my forehead.
Okay.
So for my movie title, could it be Charlotte and the forehead Charlotte and the headache that tried to ruin her day? Like,
yeah. Well, is your headache because of something that was involving Charlotte?
No, I'm just saying that because it's me. So
sorry.
Charlotte,
Yeah.
my movie title is just this headache.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it could be that.
It could be very simple. This headache.
Yeah, it could be simple. But
in the shower could be this big hurt, or this experience.
Okay.
Or she could be more specific if she wants to be.
Yeah, it can be detailed if you want. I'm sorry, Charlotte. It's a morning.
Whatever you want.
Charlotte, I thought you were so creative. I was like, dang, this girl is creative. Mine was so boring.
No, it can be that. So yeah, Charlotte, because the movie in your head it ruined your day. So see, that's more information for your system.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't want my mind to get an idea that the headache is going to ruin my day. I just want my mind to know about the headache that's happening.
Or the pressure, even this pressure behind my eyes as you're tapping.
Okay.
The traveling headache.
Okay. Yes. But I want you, before you identified it as the pressure and the headache, did you have the thought that said, this is going to ruin my day?
No.
Okay. So no, don't add that in there.
Okay.
If you had the thought while you were having the headache or before, that, then I would include that thought in your movie statement, but don't unless you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jen, that is an important nuance. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't want to add anything to it. It's just if you had that thought, just add it into your movie title. Okay. So I'm just going to run through them really quick. And then like I said, we're going to do this together, but I want to make sure that you have your statement written down. Okay. So, or you have it memorized. Okay. You have your intensity has already been measured. Your balloon's been measured. You now have your movie title.
Right.
Okay. And now I'm going to walk you through the points, and then we're going to put all of that together. So before I go to tap the top of my head, I'm going to say my movie title, and I'm going to just say everything. To me, I said everything involved in my lower back pain. And then you're just going to start to gently tap that meridian point, that pressure point. Okay. And you just think about that. I think about the pain. I think about all that's involved in that because I want to bring it up. Okay. So then, and I'm tapping as I do that. And then the next place you tap is on the outside of your eye, right here. And okay, so we started with the karate chop with the non-dominant hand on the dominant hand. And then you can switch to the dominant hand when you do this. Okay. Then it's the side of the eye. Sorry, we're just going to go down through this picture under the eye, and it's on the bone under the eye. And then it's under the nose. And under, it's not the chin, it's where it's in between the lip and the chin, right here.
Kind of feel a little sensitivity and when you get to the right spot when you're tapping under the chin or under your lower lip.
Yeah. And then you want to find your collarbone, and there's these little like indentations right here. And then you tap on those. Those are always sore for me.
Can you do both at the same time?
No, just do one hand. Just do one hand.
Excuse me, did you do the eyebrows? Did you just do
sorry, did I not do the eyebrow right here?
No.
Did I not start with the eyebrow? I'm sorry. So thank you, Carolyn. Top of the head, where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose.
And do you do each eyebrow or just
No? This is just showing you that you can do left to right side. It's how with you're right-handed or left-handed.
Oh, okay.
So, sorry. And then where the bridge of the nose and the eyebrow meet, you tap right there. Side of the eye, under on the eye bone, just right underneath the pupil, under the nose, right here in the chin. I have to kind of do this because my chin juts out. And then the collarbone, right there in the collarbone. And then under the arm, like the armpit, about 4 or 5 inches under, and you just tap there.
It's your bra line if you've got a bra on this morning.
Yeah. Okay, and that is it. And you want to spend a good amount of time in the area. I don't worry on counting. But as I have done this and tried it, I spend about like anywhere from 10 to 15 taps on an area. And then I move, but as I guide you through it, we're just gonna do whatever flows. Okay. You can do whatever you feel. You may want to spend quite a lot of time in one area. Excuse me. Carolyn.
So when you tap under the arm, you do the op, wherever it's easiest over here.
Yeah, I just go over like that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. No. Okay. So that's the sequence, and I'll walk you through it. You'll get it down. And right here, top of the head, start of the eyebrow where it meets the bridge of the nose, outside the eye socket, under eye bone of socket, under nose, between lower lip and chin, collarbone, underarm. Okay. All right.
Excuse me, I have one more question. Beth said sometimes it's sensitive. Is it always sensitive? Or is that a clue that you
That's a good clue that you're in the right place. Kind of like Jen was saying, the under your collarbone, if you go about 4 inches under your collarbone and you kind of push, you'll find a little bit of a sensitive spot.
Oh, yeah.
But not always. Yeah. That kind of that's where you want to tap. So if you're feeling around up here, like for me, I can kind of get a little bit of a sensitive spot, and that's where I want to tap. Same thing underneath, like here on your cheekbone, you might find a little bit of sensitivity there directly underneath, either a little lower or a little higher, and that's a good place to tap.
So with that, there are many points right there. He suggests that the point for this is actually the eye bone, first. And then I guess as you get going more into it, you can move into different parts of the face.
So when you're talking about the eye bone, Jen, are you talking about like the actual eye socket where your eye is in?
Yes, the eye socket.
For me, that's synonymous with cheekbone. Sorry, I just used the word. Yeah, let's clarify.
Yeah, he doesn't because if you like do your cheek, you're not going to be hitting any of any of the pressure
Mhm.
points. You want to do the bone, the eye socket
Yeah,
bone.
you're
Yeah. I
absolutely
just
right.
wanted to make sure because I can't see because you're like this big on my screen.
Okay, I have a question. Are you
Okay.
tapping with 2 fingers, 3 fingers, 4 fingers? Does it matter? Are you being gentle? Are you going in a circular motion? Are you tapping like up and down, up and down? How does this work?
Okay. Good questions, Nancy. I use anywhere from 3 to 2. Like it's really hard to get 3 right into here, so I just go to 2.
Or does it even matter what
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'd say more than one. I would say
Okay.
more than one. Now you'll find your pressure point. You'll find like what is a good pressure for you. You don't want to be causing pain. You don't want to be causing like tissue damage. But I tend to tap a little bit harder here because there's a muscle and stuff around it. So I just tend to tap a little bit harder here. I tend to tap a little bit harder underneath my arm because there's a little bit of layer of fat there, you know, that type of thing, you know. So you'll find out what your intensity is for you.
Okay. So are you actually tapping up and down, or can you doing a circular kind of motion, or?
It's a pressure point. So I just keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Okay.
You're hitting what are called pressure points in that acupuncture meridian system.
And your
Because I
whole
find
goal is
sometimes
just
if I
vibration.
do circular, it's kind of addressing that spot. It's hitting it, but it's not going up and down. But I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong if I do that.
In his book, he said that you need to be as close to the pressure point as you can be. If you're going in the areas around it, you're not getting as much of a benefit as if you're hitting right on the pressure point.
Okay.
So I would say try and stay as much right there. I mean, like if you're going around like this.
Well, maybe I can do the circular until I find the pressure point, and then I know where to direct the tapping.
Yeah.
And
I guess it
and
depends on how long
and you said you're not counting. Are you just staying there for as long as you feel necessary, or?
That's what I do. That's what I do. But he gives kind of guidelines like more than 7. I mean, because 1, 2, 3. I mean, how much have you actually activated that pressure point? But for like this group experience, as I'm doing it, I'm going to just be tapping and walking you through it just as I feel it. And to help you walk through, you're going to get a sensation, you're going to get an understanding of it. But when you practice on your own, maybe you want it to be longer, or maybe you want it to be shorter. So you find your rhythm. I've also found it depends on the issue. So when I was working with the pain and I started to be in an area after I said, like I was tapping on a point and I said my movie title and I focused on that and I was tapping, there was a sensation that was coming from my lower back. So I'm like, I'm going to stay here with this for a little bit longer. And then when I felt ready to move on. Okay. Any other questions? Great questions, Nancy.
I was just going to comment, I've been kind of tapping, and it seems like some areas I can tell where to tap, and others I'm not really, there's nothing like I do here, and I don't really notice anything, but one spot's better than other.
Well, and there are times when I tap, I don't notice either. I mean, I'm sorry, I've never felt anything underneath here except for the roll of fat. So I'm just kind of like,
so
That's a belief or a thought pattern, Jen. Just say
total thought pattern. I'll tap that out later,
Right.
But no, there are times, yeah, there are even times like on the side of my eye, I don't feel anything, but I know that I'm activating that point in my meridian system. So it will be doing something.
Yeah.
But and then there are times I feel it, I'm like, well, that is really tender, or I feel something move in my body. So it just depends, I think, on what's happening. Great question.
One more question on underneath the arm. I mean, Beth says it's at the broad line, but could it be different for different people where it's more sensitive? Do you know what I'm saying? Is it really, because there's a lot of area under the arm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there is a lot of area under the arm. And I think he said anywhere like from 4 to 5 inches from the armpit.
Oh, okay.
So just kind of work in that area and kind of find. And that's why when I do 3 fingers there and I do it vertical, I know I'm hitting more than just one specific point.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions before we put all this into action? Okay, you ready for this? Okay, sorry. When we're done with that whole thing, we're gonna reassess. You're gonna stop tapping when you get here, and we're done here. You're gonna stop tapping, and you're gonna repeat your movie title, and then you're gonna rate the intensity of when you think of that. Has there been a change? Once again, the balloon, and you'll get that. And then we'll just rinse and repeat. And you just do this over and over and over again until you get all that moved out and you desensitize. And the more you do it, you will see it gets lesser and lesser and lesser. When they work with vets with PTSD, they will sit and do this for an hour.
Oh, wow.
On one specific emotion or memory, or something. They have some other things they will do with them too, but the session will take an hour. And that's just releasing all of this out of that system and setting them up to be able to even release more later. So when I did this, okay, so I couldn't go to sleep probably like, was it 4 or 5 days ago? And it was because of my lower back. I couldn't find a comfortable position, and I didn't want to take any medicine. And so I'm all like, I'm tapping this sucker. I'm tapping this out. And so I did 4 cycles, and it wasn't gone, but it was dulled, and I was able to go to sleep. So I mean, it can really shift things and get things moving. So let's do this. Yay! Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to put this up just in case you need to look at it. So everybody get in your head your statement. Even though I experienced or am experiencing, get your statement down, and you're just going to start tapping.
I'm going to mute. I can say this out loud and not bother y'all.
Totally do. Start tapping right here, and you can wherever. I'm putting it up here so you can see, but I usually just keep mine down, just wherever it's comfortable. And as you're tapping it, say your statement. Take some breaths in between each time you say the statement. Okay, and we're going to move now to the top of the head and say your movie. What is your movie? And let all those feelings come up. And just focus on that movie and everything that's around that as you tap the top of your head. Moving now to the eyebrow and nose. My movie again. And I'm just kind of checking with your body, see if there's any shift, change, any other new thoughts. Add it into your movie if you need to. Sigh, cough, sneeze, whatever you need to, let the body release. Moving now to the outer eye. Say your movie again. Moving on now to under your eye, the cheekbone. Once again with your movie as you start to tap. Moving now to underneath your nose. Moving now to underneath your lip in between your chin. Saying your movie title. No lips involved. Now moving to your collarbone. Once again, movie. When I do this, actually, there's been some thoughts coming up and beliefs. And so I just add that to my movie thing. And I take note that maybe that's something, that belief I'll want to work on later if needed. Moving now to underneath the arm. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, now take a nice deep breath. Just sit there for a minute, reassess. Now for me, there was some, like I told you, there was some beliefs and some thoughts that came up that I'm going to add. I'm just going to take a write down little note that I think I will deep dive into those because it is connected to my pain, but some of that is being released. But if I need to, I'm going to deep dive into those. So reassess, has there been a change? Has anybody felt a change in their symptom or in their thought when you think of that balloon?
The balloon?
Remember I said like 10.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I think mine's a little bit less than it was. The headaches a little less.
Okay, so there's been some change. So let's go ahead and repeat it. So once again, even though your statement, and start your tapping on there, even though, you're going to say it 3 times. Okay, now moving to the top of the head, movie. Now our movie theme. Now what's involved in that? Moving now to the nose, bridge nose, eyebrow, movie theme. I tend to hold my breath sometimes. That's why you can hear me like exhaling. So I'm breathing it out when I start to feel that intensity. Moving on to the outer eye. Moving to under the eye. Moving to under the nose. Under the lip, your chin. And your movie title. Moving to the collarbone. Title. Let all that come up and release it. Now under the arm. Okay. Rest. Take a deep breath, exhale. Think of your movie title. Has there been a change? Okay.
Yeah.
So Jen,
Yeah.
my movie title, I added to it
Uh-huh.
because originally it was The Traveling Headache, but then I thought I want to get rid of it, so I'm going to cure the traveling headache.
Mhm.
Honest, I mean, it's crazy. My headache is gone,
No.
but now my shoulders are achy.
Okay. Okay. Now
Traveling.
it's traveling. But now you're gonna tap out. Even it's you're gonna say, even though I'm experiencing this traveling headache now in my shoulders or wherever it is. Okay.
Okay.
I completely and deeply accept myself, or
Okay.
deeply and completely, how do you want to say it? And then your movie now is the traveling headache in my shoulders, or however, whatever you did before it, the movie. Well, not actually, keep the movie the same. What was your movie again?
The
What was
traveling headache, curing the traveling headache.
Okay, keep that movie title. Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to tap it through.
Okay.
Charlotte, some practitioners call that chasing the pain. And that's a normal part of tapping. You get going and it'll travel, and it's all part of the same issue. And that's really good progress.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you want your movie title to reflect the results that you're going for? Is that not really important? Maybe or may not.
So for me, I would say no, but it worked for Charlotte, so I'm not going to tell her no because it's working for her. So why change it?
Right.
But for me, so my movie is my movie thing. So I'm working on a pain too. My movie title is My Lower Back Pain that and all that's with it. It's not an eloquent movie title. It's not like The Terminator. It's just like it's everything that's with it. And things have been coming up, and I just like Charlotte, and I add to it. But I would say if you can keep it consistent, keep it consistent. Okay. So if you started out with it being what you're experiencing right now, and not the end result, keep it consistent. But Charlotte, it sounds like, started out with the end result. So just keep it consistent. Okay.
So you don't change it right now. You don't do that. Maybe another.
I would not change it.
Okay.
No, because no. But with that, so Charlotte's she kind of, I think, jumped into a deeper thing where she's tapping for a positive result, not to release, and in doing so she's releasing stuff. But so this is something how you can change the tapping in the future.
Okay.
So you can tap in for what you need to change that's keeping you from your positive result. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's really just how you have begun to verbalize it, if that's what I'm trying to say, or like name it. Just keep it consistent. Okay. All right. Did anybody have, because some of us, and it could be also those who are working with anything emotional or mental. Did anybody have any sensations in their body as they're doing this come up?
I do. I didn't hear Charlotte's comment, so hopefully my audio went out. But so I decided to change mine to forgiving someone.
Okay.
And I have found that it has become more intense, and that a headache that I had kind of suppressed from this morning, which was like a half, kept coming up. So I thought, oh, it looks like you're still experiencing anxiety over this, and it's manifesting itself in different ways. And for right now, it would be the half has gone to like a 1.5. Nothing big, but
increase.
But I'm very aware of it. Now I thought, is it because I'm tapping on my face? And just kind of accelerating or, bringing it out. But I don't think so. It's like, oh, well, maybe some of these headaches you have are not with the triggers you thought they were. And so anyways.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say too, that when I numbered it, it was more like a 5 or a 6, but it's more like it's something I recognize that I have kind of buried in trying to deal with it. So it's coming out more.
Yes,
It's
perfect. That's your experience. And I'm glad that you're like really trying to quantify it, however you want to say it, your experience. Because it may be different than somebody else's, but it also may be very similar. I have a similar thing going on where I rated my pain at a certain thing, but as I start to tap, it like almost surges.
yeah,
almost
that's what I'm feeling.
And I'm thinking, okay, it's bringing it to the surface, it's releasing it, it's bringing it out. And there will be at some point in my tapping where they'll be like, oh, it'll come down. And then I'll move on to the next point. I'll say my movie title, I'll start to tap, and here it comes again. And then it'd be like, oh, and it'll come down again. So it just, but not on every point, just on certain points. Now, I would say not because, in the future, when you're working alone with yourself, not here in this group, but when you're working alone with yourself, and that surge comes up, that intensity, and it can be either physical or it can be the emotional surge, or even just like the mental chatter surge, whatever it is, tap until you feel a lessening, whether you sigh, whether you sneeze, whether you yawn. I sometimes do that, or I have to breathe in, or until you feel it kind of relax. Tap until you feel that in that one point, and then move on to the next point. Okay. Good. Okay, we've done it twice, so there's been some change. I do want to speak a little bit to like what Charlotte and Nancy were saying as they were discovering things and they changed. That's perfectly okay in the beginning. I would say, because it's discovery, you're learning and your body is teaching you and it's bringing things to your awareness. Change it then. But to really like deconstruct it and take the energy out of it, keep that consistent. Except for I would say with Charlotte, if it now travels to a different part of your body, then we'll just chase it. Okay. But like Nancy, you got a greater understanding of this. Now you change it to forgiveness. Keep on that for the whole rotation to take that cycle out. Don't now change in the middle of that. Because what I think was happening, and it's happened with me before, is you started with what you believed and what you felt was the beginning thing of it. And as you started to do it, you opened up your body and your mind opened up to say, no, but it's more, it's this. And that was the real part in that issue that you needed to address. So it kind of guided you to that.
Yeah.
And
it's important to keep your theme all the way through. Yeah.
Keep that. But did you hear what I said when I said, oh, this brought up this belief as I was tapping, this came to my memory. I'm going to write it down because I know that's probably a deeper thing to do. Even though it's connected to this right now, maybe it will be resolved with this, maybe it won't, but it's one of my deeper themes. I know it's not going to, there's going to be facets of it. So if something like that, you can then address later on. Did I just confuse everybody?
I think you're doing great.
No, I think Jen, I was thinking about, my experience. So mine went, when you said a movie theme, it came to my mind, The Great Betrayal. And actually it was the betrayal. And so that's all of the anxiety and things I feel in the shower. But as I started, it was the betrayal. But like you said, then it surged as I was going through in different parts, and it became the great betrayal. And it was like, oh. And then when we started that second time through, it was when this is where I got the most release, right? When I went underneath the nose on the second time. And it just went from like a 9 after that surge to just like a 1.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, this is great. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. And then it was like, oh, but there's no betrayal. This feels great. Right. And then under the arm, then it just brought this picture of another situation that led into this one. And I was like, wait, I don't want that. So I started to deny it. But I think as I go through, if we do it again,
No,
or
we
if
will
I
be
do
doing
it on
it
my
again.
own. Yeah, as I do it again, that's just another layer of it
Exactly.
that now my body is ready to accept, because it wasn't we had to get through that first part, and now we're going to work through this next part. So the layering, I think, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The layering, and also it's showing you how things are connected. And yes, absolutely. I do want to tell you one thing. When the next, this is going to sound strange. The next time you take a shower, Jacine, and shower, and that comes up, because you're like, it always happens in the shower. There is something there that's connecting that. And it might be because the shower is when we just stop doing things and our brain comes alive. You know.
Well, I realized that because I haven't in the past, but I'm getting better at that, at crying. And in the shower, I can cry and nobody sees me, and there's no, right. And that came to me early on when you were saying, like, I wrote, why in the shower? And then all of a sudden it came, oh, that's why.
My safe place.
It's a safe place to cry. Yeah.
Yeah. When my kids were little and I was grieving, my brother died when my kids were all little. And that was, I mean, I just said, I'm not going to cry right now. I'm going to cry when I get in the shower. It was my cry space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
It didn't disturb the kids, and it let me get that grief out.
Mm-hmm.
So JC, the next time you shower and you feel the great betrayal, tap it out in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right,
I will.
Break that association, but also let's move it through. If it comes up, some of these things need more than 2 or 3 cycles of EFT to address, because they are layered. But it will take the intensity out of it until you just get it done. So we've only done it twice. We're going to do it another 2 times, or at least 2 more times, to see where we are on it. And for those of you that I'm at a 0 or everything, do it anyway. Do it anyway. It's going to help you, and you'll
be fascinated to see what comes up, because there's all kinds of things waiting to present themselves to you. And as you're open and you're tapping, they'll come up.
Yeah. All right. So let's start again with right here with even though. Okay, now moving on to the top of the head with our movie title. Now to the bridge of the nose, movie title. To the outer eye. Oops. Now under the eye. Movie title. Now under the nose. Under the lip. collarbone. Under the arm. Okay, now take a moment. Deep breath in. And say, your movie title. And assess. Get your number. There's been change. Okay. Let's just move right into the next one without talking. So go ahead. Let's tap the side of our hand, saying our statement, even though, remember, we're doing this 3 times. Moving to the top of the head, say your movie title. Moving to the bridge of the nose and your eyebrow area. Moving to the outer eye. Under the eye. Remembering to say your movie title and focus on your movie title and all that's involved with it. And my mind tends to wander, so I'm telling you that. Now under the nose. Under the lip. Now the collarbone. Bring your movie title. Moving on to under your arm. Okay. Taking a nice breath. Reassessing it. Okay. So I just noticed something I want to ask Jacine. Why are you rubbing? You feeling some tension there?
I actually have tension that released from there because
okay.
I was like super
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
and yeah.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, wow, I don't have that big huge knot, so I was feeling for it.
Oh, awesome.
I'm like, where'd it go? That's great.
Like, I just wanted to help people have awareness that you may be starting to feel things differently in your body. And so, Charlotte, how did yours go? How did it travel anywhere?
Yes. It's back to my head, but it was on my forehead and now it's under my eyebrows.
Okay. So
and now it's on my neck. So my shoulders are better, but it's like my lower neck.
Okay,
well,
so yeah, and just like with anything, we don't know like how long we're gonna have to do this. Like I'm still experiencing my discomfort in my back, my pain in my back is different. It's not gone, but it's different. It's not as intense. So I will just keep tapping it and doing it.
Well, I think I'm learning about layers because I had two faces pop up in my mind and I was like, oh yeah, I know why you're here.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I thought I had processed that, but I didn't.
You probably had done some, but there's just more to do. Yeah.
And see, the thing is, you may have done the work, but the energy of it is stuck in your meridians. And so you're getting it out. So it's like, possibly, I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How did yours go, Carolyn? Is she still here?
I'm here. Yeah, my computer died. And I ended up bumping my head trying to plug it in. It's better here. I'm noticing it more back here. I think this was already there, but now I'm noticing it more in this spot. So, but this part's not quite as intense, but so it just, this is talking to me more right now.
Mm-hmm. Good. So just keep going. And how about you, Nancy?
I don't know where she went.
I think Ceci's on here too. Is Ceci on here?
I haven't seen Ceci, but I've seen Cricket Forster.
Oh, Cricket. Oh, it is Cricket. Yep. Oh, it is Cricket. Yep.
I don't see in my thing.
Hit your down arrow.
I did, and all I have are I don't.
I have Cricket. Just saying.
I don't see
muted with no screen, but she's here.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard her, so
yeah.
So Cricket, how are you doing?
Let's see if we can get her. Ask her to unmute. See if she will.
She may be doing something where she can't really participate.
Yes, that's kind of what it looks like.
No problem.
Yep.
Okay, so interesting. I have an idea with Charlotte. You might be working on something really big.
I think I might be.
Because And this is why possibly the word cure should not be in it. Because it's saying, okay, then I'm going to give you everything. And you may be chasing it all over your body for a long time.
Okay.
That might be something that you can say, okay, well, can I, do I want to continue to do this and chase it down? No problem. Do I have the time? Or do I want to adjust that? Maybe give it I want to address the headache right now or something. It's like you might want to be a little bit more specific. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think my children just came home, so they're
it's done.
I think yeah, I just kind of got the idea of the word cure. It didn't, I haven't liked it the past few times that we've tapped. It's like I actually forgot to say curing the traveling headache. In fact, it was like just a traveling headache, and I was like, oh, I put curing in there. So yeah, and the things that are coming up, I know exactly why they're coming up, and yeah, I do have a question though.
Okay.
Is this healthy to do every day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do as much as you
Or
want.
even
And it works really well with other modalities. So as you're practicing with your emotion code, you can use that on the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
So you're working on your tapping one day, you could do some emotion code on it the same, and just keep bringing them all together.
Okay.
What I would say is because you have such a big thing, and because in like my lower back and my movie, I work on it all the time.
Okay.
It's just I just keep getting the layers out, getting more awareness. So it's like you already have the theme, you already have the experience, you already have the movie. Your body and your subconscious knows this, so you can work on that whenever.
Okay.
And you can work on it more than once a day.
Okay.
Yep.
And Jen, I just wanted to say, for me, as I was going through, one of the coolest experiences I had was as I began to let that second layer, as it began to dissipate, I began to feel and see more and more light. And so the heaviness and the darkness began to dissipate. And when I got to my collarbone, because I am such a big believer in our Savior Jesus Christ, my Savior Jesus Christ, that thought just came to my mind: take my yoke upon you.
Oh,
and
there
didn't
it is.
right? It just yoke it with me. And all of a sudden it went from whatever it was to a 0. It was gone. And that light was so powerful it emanated through my whole meridian and my whole body. And so I just felt like I needed to share that as that light began to come in, I recognized where that light came from. And man, did that change.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, JC.
Yeah.
Because that is one thing that I do when I do other things. Always invite the Savior in. Use the atonement. Use prayer. It will, it's another tool. Why not put this EFT on steroids? Bring the Savior in, amp it up. And I love that you had that experience. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else have anything they want to share about this?
I just have a question because my computer died. I was trying to remember, and the order of the tapping, is it here, then here? Do you just kind of go?
Yeah, you go down. Yeah,
okay.
Top down.
Okay.
We can put up this slide, this visual right here up on the page.
Mm-hmm.
But as you do it over and over again, it's just you memorize it.
Well, I absolutely part of I was just asking me now.
Yeah. There are some now, he didn't teach this, but in my research I have seen there are other points that you can add to this, but that's the deeper dive. But also there are points on you can do it all on your hand if in your place that you like people would look at you strange if you're doing this. Okay. So, but I I've never done that, so I don't know the effectiveness of it in this, but if in an emergency situation, why not? I just think if you're really like in a stressful situation and you're about to lose it, go to the bathroom and tap it out. You can take yourself, first of all, you're removing yourself from the energy of the situation. But that's another thing is, if you're in a situation and you're having an experience and there's a lot of stress, a lot of emotion, a lot of angst coming at you, even trauma and like that, but it's not happening to you, it's happening around you, or you're in that experience, you're still gonna have some of that residual. You can go tap that immediately. My lights are flickering, so I may lose power. This is crazy. Sorry, guys. So it may be over real soon. So that's another way that you can do it. Now, I know that we've been doing everything to prepare us for the stress of the holiday season. So that's how you can do this, is tap if you know you're going into a situation with family or something that you just don't want to do. Tap why you don't want to do it. Tap with your expectation, tap of your perception or whatever. You can tap that. And also you can just tap when you're there. Even though I'm experiencing this family situation, I deeply and completely accept myself. Do it here, and then just do the stuff in the movie as the situation I'm in, or something like that. Just tap it out and have give yourself some, help that way. So that's kind of combat the stress of the season, and anything that come out after, even of being around people that push your buttons. So
I just had a question. When we're
did you want that? I can put it back on.
No, just gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
When we're tapping, if we do some kind of visualization in our brain, like say there's a pain and we kind of envision it kind of loosening up and lessening, does that
go for it? Go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, when I was on one of the rounds, when I was tapping and I felt that tightness in my lower back, and I was just like, oh, just let it go. And it was like, ping. I was like, oh, hey, I can help it along its way. I tell it to release. I can tell it to let it go. So just whatever you feel, whatever comes to you. I think there are like structures and confines of kind of like follow this protocol, but also let your body, the spirit, everything speak to you on how to resolve this for yourself. Yeah.
How do you word the movie? How do you word the phrase for something that hasn't happened yet? So I'm not nervous about anything, but if I were nervous about a public speaking event in 2 weeks, would I say I will be experiencing?
Even though I'm nervous about this public speaking event in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though. Because you're experiencing that anxiety and that overwhelm or whatever right now.
Well, what was it? You called it a secondary, I can't remember, a secondary.
It's called the secondary gain.
Right. And so you're clearing the secondary gain as well as for now, as well as for the future with the even though.
Yeah. Because
so it may not even happen.
Yeah. Any other
My favorite way to go tapping, you guys, is to go for a long walk outside. You take your troubles for a walk outside and you tap the whole time you're walking. It is profound. You can really
cool.
have this prayerful conversation while you're tapping, while you're outdoors. It is really turbocharged.
You're getting so much goodness.
Yeah.
Because we
so
know that moving the body actually helps release energy out of the meridians.
Yeah,
So,
it just really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So my brain keeps thinking this movie title needs to be more elaborate or complicated. It's just basically what we're dealing with.
No, right? It doesn't have to be, because when you call that movie up, you're calling up the experience, and that is almost like there's a picture coming. And all in that picture is all of the emotions, all of the words, all of the memories, all of the experiences, all the perceptions, everything is coming up with that.
You know what would be really fun to tap on even though I think I need to make this movie title more elaborate, I deeply, completely accept myself. Right? And you would get all of that secondary gain and that resolution, and then you would get the movie title. That's the best because you get that other stuff out of the way. That even though statement works on so many things. It's amazing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you're saying it only 3 times, but it seems like you're tapping it longer than just saying it 3 times. You just
Well, I say mine very slowly, and mine might be longer, or somebody else's might be longer than yours. And so I was trying to give a lot of time. So
gotcha.
I said it slowly and just with a lot of feeling.
Okay. Oh.
And then I don't want to just like I say, I completely, you want to make sure that you mean what you're saying. So even though, so.
Okay.
So when you do it yourself, you're going to find your own rhythm. You're going to find your own way that you work with yourself. And yeah. But I encourage you to keep it up.
One of the things that I really love in my pattern of tapping that I've created is I do it from the top down, but then I end again at the top.
Or you end at the top.
Something about connecting my crown chakra and finishing at the top just feels like it seals it for me. So like Jen is saying, you're going to find your own way as you practice, especially as you practice prayerfully. Involve your creator when you get started and stay with him in conversation while you're going through, and it will really make a difference.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw in my slide, it said basic protocol. This was the basic. Things can change in it. And so, but I would say learn this first, and then as you have it learned, which you should have, hopefully, now then you Beth was saying, involve your creator, let it come, let things come, and just fine tune it with you.
Yeah, pretty soon you'll be taking your own way.
Sorry, can this point change a little bit on top? Like, does it just pretty much stay?
That's why I do like 3 fingers and I hit the line.
You just hit wherever, you just kind of hit wherever it hurts.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, just the top of my head. No, it feels right. Just what feels right for you.
Okay. All right. Well, because I have a sore spot here and then a sore spot back here.
I think it's more
bang on those sore spots.
I think, in the beginning, the pressure point that I feel is because they say top of head. They don't say back of head. No, and they say top of head. But I don't know. We can look up and see, well, what is that acupressure point here? And is it something that needs to be, adjusted? I don't know.
That would be interesting to Google and see what that meridian point is in the back of the head.
Yeah. I know I've had acupuncture needles stuck all along in those, so I'm sure they're there. There's something there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. Any other questions? You want to do another round, or you want to call it good? What do you want to do?
I wouldn't mind doing another round. I'd like to get even lesser, but I can do it on my own if everybody wants to.
No, I do it with you in a heartbeat.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do another round.
Do another round.
All right. Okay, so everybody, nice deep breath. Let's go ahead and tap and say your statement, even though. Moving now to the top of the head, your movie. Moving to the bridge of the nose. Focusing on the movie. Moving to the outside of the eye. Moving to under the eye. Moving to under the nose. Moving to under the lip. Focusing on the movie title. Moving to the collarbone. Moving to under the arm. Take a nice deep breath. Once again, reassess. Anybody want to go for round two?
Sure.
Okay, so once again. Moving now to the top of the head. Moving to the eyebrow, bridge, and nose area. Moving to the side of the eye. Move to under the eye. Moving to under the nose. Moving to under the lip. And then bring him in the moving to the collarbone. Moving to under the arm. All right, take a nice breath. I'm gonna yawn. And reassess. Wow. Man, I had bones moving on that one. That was good.
I got to under the arm, and into my head all of a sudden comes, you are good enough. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good enough. You are good enough.
Awesome. Yes.
I'm like, okay, say that one again. I like that one.
I like that one. I accept that completely.
I accept that. I'm going to own that one. I am good enough.
All right.
Yes, you are.
I just want to. I was looking at to make sure on the chats because I've been looking at the chat. So
I have a question. I took a picture of the diagram, and at the bottom it says EBSCUEUN and chi points. Are those just
I think they're just an abbreviation for like the side eye or whatever.
Side of the eye, under the nose. Yeah,
That's just
collarbone. That's what they mean.
And the really weird oval looking dot at the top of the head, I had to create that one because for some reason, when I copied and pasted the picture, it went away. And I was like, it was strange. So that should be TH, top head. So, so any questions?
Oh, I see. I see how it's out. Okay.
It's like a really weird thing. Like, yeah, the top of the head.
Okay, I see.
So is this the recording? Is it going to be on Facebook on the 50/50 Girl Club? Where will we find it?
It will be on Facebook on the 50/50 Girl Club. For the next little while, it'll be pinned to the top. I'll post it, and then I'll pin it as well so people can find it.
Okay.
So how is everybody feeling?
Really good.
So much better.
So much better.
I mean, not only with like, I'm noticing, I'm like really checking my body, but not only am I like noticing the lessening of the pain and discomfort, I'm just feeling really zen right now. my nervous system is happy.
Yeah.
I was thinking this is how to begin the day every day.
Yes, definitely.
Approach a challenge and deal with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question. So if it gets to where, you know, you said you did your back till there was like a dull pain. So after you've done it and you kind of a number of times and you get it down to maybe a dull and you've done it several times and it hasn't really changed, does that mean you're kind of done with that for that moment?
Okay. So for me, no, because I'm assessing it's like, oh my gosh, it's moved, it's loose, it's dull. So I would say probably my pain now is more like probably a 3. It's not completely gone, maybe a 3. If I just want to keep going on it, I'm going to be diving deeper into it.
Oh, so you can go as long as you want to.
You can go on as long as you want. And in fact, I'm curious. I want to keep going even after possibly I get it to 0, because as Beth pointed out earlier, maybe your body will bring you something else that is attached and connected to it to work on. Because we're layered. We're just layered. But I mean, I have enough relief right now with what, our time constraint right now, that I don't need to go further. But, when I'm done, if I want to complete it and keep going and keep going and keep going, it would be very beneficial for me. I know that already. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This was really good.
It was great.
Everybody feel jump started? You can jumpstart into AFT and do it on your own now.
Yeah, I'm going to do it some more when we're done here.
Yeah. Okay. So in January, we're going to be setting up the jump starts for 2023. We have a poll on the Facebook page. It's still pinned to the top. If you haven't participated in the poll, this is your chance to pick what we're going to talk about in 2023. So go in there, click on the things that you would love to learn about. Feel free to write something else in the bottom of the poll. There's a space there for other. You can write down what you want to learn. But this is the week we're thinking this week and next week, we're going to be setting up the jump starts for the next year. So if there's stuff you want to hear, now's the time to put it on there on the poll.
What if you don't know what you want to hear? I mean,
What
Keep coming, just keep coming. And this time next year, you'll know what you want to put. Yeah. Yeah. Just keep coming. But there's probably a dozen different choices on the poll right now. So just
you have them in there to choose from. Okay,
yes.
I'll have to go look.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are quite a few choices.
So, all right.
Maybe if people don't, because we have 12 months, maybe if people don't, really give us a feedback, I'm just going to make you do what I want to do.
That's right. We're just going to pick. Other things Monday is Mastermind. So for everybody in Mastermind, show up 7 p.m. Central. And then we don't have Coaching Clear this week. We have Coaching Clear the following week because it's the 2nd and 4th. And I think I misannounced that, thinking it was this Tuesday, but it's not. First Monday Mastermind is this week. The next week, 2nd Tuesday, Coaching Clear, then 3rd Monday Mastermind, then 4th Tuesday, Coaching Clear. And that gives
I thought you were
doing Mastermind or Creator-Based Year something every week.
I don't think we have that second Coaching Clear in December because of the holiday.
Yeah, because of the holiday. You're right.
And there's just going to be some crazy months where the first Monday and the 2nd Tuesday all fall in the same week.
We had that happen. Yeah, we had that happen last month and it was so weird. I'm like, is that really the 2nd Tuesday? But it was because the month started on a Tuesday.
So how do we get to the Coaching Clear? Is it on the page?
Same link you used today.
Oh, okay. And it's
So
a
show up on this link and we'll be there to do Coaching Clear. And I'll also post it on the 50/50 Girl page. It's on there now, but if I have it together that day, I'll do 20 minutes before, 20 minutes till Coaching Clear and put the post up there as well.
Okay. And it's 1:30 Central Time.
1:30 Central, and it usually runs an hour. And you'll recognize the pattern of it from Mastermind. It's very similar.
Oh, okay.
Really do more clearing.
Yeah, that's a big emphasis on clearing. We spent. Bye, Cricket. Thank you for coming.
Bye.
It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think. Trick that I'll share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. And if I wake up with a bad attitude, I just fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. day I pave the way with every little thought I think. Whoa, day by day I pave the